Excited to play Missouri. Excited we have an opportunity to play it here in our home stadium. And they're a hot team right now. They've won their last 2 games and have a really good offensive line. They run the stretch play as good as anybody out there. And Tyler Beatty is tearing it up. You know, he's not only their leading rusher but leading pass receiver by a long ways. Defensively, Jeff Coat is a guy that we have to be aware of. Very, very good player. Byers is a really nice inside player. And then number 1, I think his name is Carlisle. Jalen Carlisle is a really good safety, makes a lot of plays. So they're coming in here, I'm sure, with a lot of confidence. And we're excited to have a big crowd here. I'm hearing estimates are between 65 and 70,000, and we certainly hope that's the case because they certainly, I believe, the crowd, Razorback Nation, helped us win the Mississippi State game. So we're encouraging everybody to have a whole lot of turkey and come out and help us win on Friday. With that, I'll visit with any questions you want.
Coach, I think you said you jumped into practice yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. How was that coming off of, I mean, you had a game on Saturday and you jumped right into it on Sunday. How was the players, the mood, and everything?
Yeah, I tell you, in all honesty, Trey, we were surprised. The practice was outstanding. We're electing this week to go in spiders the entire week. That was not the case until yesterday's practice. I felt like we needed to thud, bang a little bit. Obviously, they, like I said, they run a really nice stretch play. That's their bread and butter, I think. They're good in the gap schemes too, but wanted to fit it up. But because of the speed of practice last night, I felt like we could get our work done and make sure that we heal up a little bit and make sure that we get our best players to Friday at 2:30. So, to be honest with you, the kids surprised me of how ready they were to go out and practice.
Remember last year, nobody needs a reminder, but I will. It was Halloween night. Dan Mullen did the whole Darth Vader deal, and that was somewhat the beginning of the end for him in terms of, being in good graces with a lot of people. Everyone laughed it off, and this year, of course, Eli Drinkwitz came back and had a little fun with that after he beat Mullen in overtime. Today he was on a radio show in Jacksonville explaining what happened last year and what happened this year. He said, "My father was a farmer, and there's an old saying, you reap what you sow. If you sow kindness, you reap kindness. If you sow jackass, you reap jackass." A wise man named Elijah said that.
Just following up the game from Saturday, congratulations to our seniors. I thought, all week we talked about the importance of senior week and sending those guys off the right way, and just to have 2 walk-offs 2 years in a row on senior day is pretty incredible. And for those guys to get to experience that, just a credit to them and the rest of the team for fighting, believing in each other, and finding a way to win the game. So really proud of those guys for that. But we've got to move on. This week doesn't care about last week, and we don't get to carry any of those performances with us. We've got to recreate the process, and we've got to be improving this week for a very difficult task, playing the Arkansas Razorbacks at home in Fayetteville. Obviously a very good football team that Coach Pittman has done just an outstanding job with that program, the way they play on both sides of the football. When the schedule came out, there was a lot of optimism about what we could accomplish and what maybe the expectations for our team were. I think after you don't really know until you play. After week 1, I kind of had a different sense of maybe what our team was capable of, and the disappointment at Boston College, I think, was real, and like, okay, this is really where we've got to really work to improve. We weren't improving at the rate that we needed to in the middle of the season. And so I think we had to really rededicate ourselves to how are we going to focus on improvement and individual player development and then commitment to the team. And I think you've seen that in our performances really the last 4 weeks. I think there's a greater sense of commitment to the team, to each other, playing for each other, doing my job. Coach Wilkes has talked about my gap, my responsibility, and those guys are really doing it now. Offensively, I think just not worried about individual statistics or maybe what is in it for me, but what can we do as a group. We've faced a lot of different adversity with injuries and people being out, but that's football, that's life. And so I think the way our guys are responding has been a positive. You really can't outperform the culture and the togetherness of a team. I think the best teams play the best together, and we're starting to figure that out as a culture and a program.
Speaking of keep scoring, Tyler Beatty keeps running, continuing his tear through the SEC defenses, gaining 127 of his 146 rushing yards in the second half against Florida. And you get carried off the field when you put up a performance like that. The Tigers, of course, going bowling.
Also a game we got to talk about coming up later. Aaron Murray is going to be on the call, and he will join us. Missouri's played some pretty good football as of late, going up against Sam Pittman's Arkansas squad there in Fayetteville.
Yeah, we're showing offensive highlights. I actually think that the biggest improvement that I've seen is defensively, PB. They were a miserable run defense for the majority of the season, and ironically, it was against Georgia where they started putting things together. Yeah. South Carolina only allowed 57 yards last week, 93 yards against the Gators. So this is a team you could talk, and we'll do it. We'll talk about Coach of the Year, but I know Eli Drinkwitz is not going to win that award, but what he's done in the middle of the season to kind of take them back from being on the cusp of being down and out on the mat forever is pretty impressive.
Coach Drink, how much does last week's success play into this week's success?
This week doesn't care about last week, and we don't get to carry any of those performances with us. We've got to recreate the process, and we've got to be improving this week for a very difficult task, playing the Arkansas Razorbacks at home in Fayetteville. Obviously a very good football team that Coach Pittman has done just an outstanding job with that program, the way they play on both sides of the football.
Because of the speed of practice last night, I felt like we could get our work done and make sure that we heal up a little bit and make sure that we get our best players to Friday at 2:30. So, to be honest with you, the kids surprised me.
All right, so we hear Sam Pittman there talking about. By the way, Sam Pittman looks good.
Yeah, he looks svelte, doesn't he?
It looks like
I don't know if that's a good thing with coaches at the end of the year. You don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. The stress is taking it off them, or they've actually committed to being in a little better shape.
I think, honestly, Sam Pittman's got to be loving life right now, right? Has an opportunity to get 8 wins underneath his belt.
He's one of those guys that's a Coach of the Year candidates, right?
Absolutely. And Missouri has won 6 of the last 7 against Arkansas. We saw that earlier. They keep it rolling right now because this feels like a game that's all Arkansas. Like this is the team. This is kind of like that last rallying cry for this senior crew of like 9th-year seniors.
I can't even tell you who like with this COVID situation. I don't even know who's eligible to come back or who's gone for good.
I hope they all come back. Give them an NCAA waiver because
it'd be great, right?
Team.
But
yes.
this has been one of the great storylines in our conference this year. What not only they've been able to exceed expectations with. But I look at KJ Jefferson as one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks in the entire country. We saw him last week against Alabama. People questioned his passing ability. He putting teams on your back like Matt Corral. KJ Jefferson is the exact same way with what he does running the football, what he does throwing the football, and what he does from a leadership perspective.
It has been nothing but fantastic. And then it's just so much fun to watch Treylon Burks play as well, too. And I don't know if you saw last night, Katie George during the Egg Bowl, she showed one of the clips of how she loved covering SEC football. And I'll still remember the clip of her hand, and like she had like a little tiny hand compared to Burks' mitts.
Yeah.
And I think that ends up being a difference maker. I think Arkansas wins handily today later in Fayetteville. Coming in at number 4 as far as our Power 5 rankings is the best values in SEC coaching. Sam Pittman coming in at number 4. Maybe SEC Coach of the Year. I know he's going to get some votes. Arkansas fans were
passionate about it.
Yes.
When was that Monday show that they were chiming in on the fact that he wasn't amongst the conversation that we were just you were off the top of your head? I had to stick up for you.
$2.9 million.
Yeah, that's ridiculously low, isn't it?
Because it's kind of that CEO. It kind of reminds me of what Dabo was building in Clemson, right? Like, hey, listen, I'm going to be this guy that knows a good amount about football, but I'm going to hire really good assistants around me, and we're going to have this team environment. And I think that's a huge credit.
That's a great kind of direction to take. Is like, hey, I want to get paid something nice, but let's save some money so I can bring in some really top talent around me, not only at the coordinator positions, but at some of the position groups as well. So I think that Sam Pittman certainly is deserving of a raise, particularly with the opportunity to get to 8 wins with this schedule this year. It's an amazing coaching job.
After Mel Tucker's getting $9.5 million, everybody's getting a raise here in the SEC, and especially because it's not our money that we have to pay. You are in Fayetteville for the game coming up a little bit later. Arkansas and Missouri. Which team has more positive momentum behind it? Because Missouri's been actually playing pretty good as well.
Well, they've been playing great on defense. And I think that's been the biggest difference for this football team is they're actually making tackles. I think that is something they did not have early on in the season. They've kind of switched up when it comes to linebackers. The 2 guys they have now, a lot more downhill, which is forcing offensive linemen to get off their double teams a little bit earlier, allowing the defensive line to roam and win some one-on-one battles. And that's the biggest difference. You turn on the tape early in the season, you were seeing gashes, run after run after run, guys not getting off blocks, secondary, having to make one-on-one tackles in the open field. They weren't getting it done. Now you're seeing a lot more active front seven. 2 weeks ago versus South Carolina, 53 yards rushing given up. Last week versus Florida, only 93 yards rushing given up. And that was a Florida offense that was getting around 200, 220 yards rushing per game. So they're going against the second best rushing offense in the SEC in Arkansas. They got to be big. Obviously, goal number 1 is, hey, we got to stop KJ Jefferson. If you can slow down the quarterback running game, make the running backs actually be the runners, I think that gives that defense an opportunity to go out there and make some stops. So I've been impressed with them on that side of the football. Obviously, we know Beatty's an absolute beast. They want to get him in open space. They want to get the stretch game going and allow him to cut back when the defense overplays it. The goal is going to be for them offensively. Bazelak has to continue to take care of the football. The coaching staff challenged him last week. Don't turn it over. Take care of it. That's something that's been an issue with him throughout the season. If he does that and you get Tyler Beatty going, I think they can make this a close football game.
You mentioned KJ Jefferson, Aaron. Last week, heading into the Alabama game, a lot of people were questioning whether he was able to make the throws consistently that they needed him to in order to be competitive with Alabama. He did that time and time again. I think he's one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks, not only in this conference, but in the country as well. As a former quarterback, what do you see in KJ Jefferson's game that you like a lot, and what's maybe most impressed you the most about him?
Well, his physicality as a runner is obviously his bread and butter. That's what he's going to be able to do, get you the nitty-gritty yards, extend plays. But, yeah, man, when you watch him on the film, I mean, he's completing 75% of his passes here in November. And a lot has to do with the fact that he has a lot of time in the pocket. Defenders are so worried about him taking off, extending plays, getting outside, allowing the receivers like Burks to get open 3, 4, 5 seconds down the lane. So they don't really rush him as aggressively. But he's taking advantage of it. Good for him. His footwork in the pocket looks great. The down-the-field accuracy with the football has been absolutely tremendous here this past 3 weeks. And it's tough throws, too. You saw it last week versus Alabama. Some of these back shoulder fades that he's throwing, they're not easy. And you can't really simulate that in practice because the DBs you're going against in scout team really aren't going 100%. So the fact that they're executing those throws down the field, 20, 30, 40-yard throws, it's kind of eye-opening to me. He's really taken that next step. Like I said, a lot has to do, I believe, with his footwork in the pocket has gone better. He's a lot more comfortable. He's trusting it. He's trusting his arm. He's trusting his receivers. And obviously, they're putting him in a situation to make easy throws throughout the game, get some one-on-one opportunities. And then, he is one of the best receivers in the SEC. If you get Burks one-on-one because they got to bring a safety in the box to defend the quarterback run, just throw it up, let the big man go out there and make a play for you.
They're suited and booted, ready for this game.
Well, if it's 4 feet, then how tall is Jenny Dell? Because it was towering over her, Sam Pittman. Meanwhile, 10 and 11 overall at Arkansas. As mentioned, the turnaround of this program on the other side. Eli Drinkwitz, we had a chance to talk to him, and this is just such a special time to play here at Arkansas, where he grew up, where he familiarized himself with football, where his daughter was born across the street from the hotel that they were staying at, and a couple of weeks in a row in which they have completely turned this season around. Arkansas won the toss. They deferred, so Missouri will start with the football and will start from the 25-yard line.
Have been much better. They're going to have to be a little stouter than they were on those first 2 plays.
First touch for Traylon Burks, who was banged up last week, but you can't keep this man down as he keeps the legs moving for a first down. Jefferson stays on his feet. Here goes KJ Jefferson, showing off the speed, showing off the size, and he's finally dragged down just shy of the 10.
It's as if KJ heard what we were saying. He's the straw that stirs the drink. You have to tackle him. Missed tackles on number 1 are going to be a problem. And you just saw that, a big gash for the Razorbacks.
Will come on now for the 36-yard attempt. And the freshman gets it to go. Eli Drinkwitz, hyped up for his defense, making the big play. So Beatty stays in there on this first down call, finds another hole, but then runs into Morgan. No gain. Left guard out with the flu, one of 4 players saying so. Beatty is back in the game. Beatty has the rock, and he lowers the shoulder. This program for the better. And here is a huge second down and 15 in which Baisley change out the running back, get Downing in there, but they're going to go to the air. Bazelak escapes, gets rid of it. Bazelak incomplete. Flag in the backfield, looking downfield.
That was a great play by Slusher, the Arkansas DB, to get his hand in the way. I don't know if he deflected the ball.
Holding, offense number 76. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
And the leading rusher in the conference has the rock once again, but that Arkansas defense, 4th down and 5. Bazelak could not connect with Bannister. He was open, but threw it behind him, and Bannister could not make a fantastic play. Turnover back to Arkansas. First 3rd down conversion of the game on either side. Beatty, and they are going to work him. You know, Eli told us, just get the ball to number 1 from Missouri, from the Arkansas 26 to start this second quarter. And it'll go right back to Beatty, and he cannot escape. Hayden Henry with a big, big play. As Missouri trying to put points on the board for the first time today. Swing it to the outside, Kiki Chisholm, and there is no room to run.
When we talk about these linebackers, Grant Morgan, the senior, Hayden Henry, senior, Bumper Pool, senior, you don't think today matters to them and what they've gone through during their time in Arkansas? You see them all year long playing with this chip on their shoulder, flying around.
That set up Missouri in impressive field position. The Arkansas defense does its job and holds them to 3.
It's fine on that side of the football, and they've proven it right here in the first half.
Martez Manuel sets up the 3rd and 20 for Arkansas, and Jefferson lets it fly. Catch was brought in. Ketron Jackson was the one to haul it through, but it was well short of the first down regardless of whether it was a catch or not. It brings up 4th down as it currently stands, 4th and 7.
That's called using the college feet. In the NFL, they'd be taking this back and saying he didn't get 2 down, but you only need 1 in the college game, and that is textbook. That is absolutely textbook. My old coach, Homer Smith, used to say, lift that leg just like a dog does on the hydrant.
But Beatty with 57 yards on 14 carries, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Beatty fighting for that first down. Looks like he came up just short.
That he is not a little emotional about having a chance to play against his former team.
Bazelak will keep again, and this Arkansas defense finding that rhythm. Rocket Sanders, the running back. Instead, Jefferson keeps again. Already had 1 big run and another first down.
Well, Jordan Davis, the big man.
Spoken like a true Georgia dog.
Ask these 2 teams about him.
3rd down and 4, swing it to Burks and just let the big man go. Here's a junior. Jefferson on first down. Back to the air. Oh, he's got him wide open and connects. Treylon Burks stumbles down at the 5. He had nothing but green grass in front, but becomes the 4th wide receiver in school history to record a 1,000-yard season.
Oh, and Missouri got caught looking at the motion. You see both safeties going to the flat, and you leave one of the best receivers in the SEC running right between you, just not able to hold his feet.
They keep Burks in the backfield. Jefferson, option, get it to Burks. And he is just short down at the 1. 8th play of the drive, 3rd and goal. The give goes to Sanders. And Sanders is in. Touchdown Arkansas, the freshman with the strength.
Now the old school fullback dive. You put Sanders at the fullback, get his hand in the dirt. You put Burks back at the running back position and then sneak it around to number 5.
Big drive from Missouri near midfield. Bazelak. Incomplete. Looking for Toski Dove. Bazelak knocked away. What a play. Hayden Henry on senior day has been everywhere.
Well, they showed blitz, which they've been doing on 3rd down situations, and everyone drops back. And this man is the 3rd down stopper. Hayden Henry coming up once again.
Bazelak, quick throw, knocked away. 2nd down and 10. Bazelak has to get rid of it. Got absolutely walloped as he hit. Hayden Henry delivers the pain, and Hayden Henry has been a menace.
A legal hit, stays under in the strike zone in that chest area rather than getting up around the head and neck.
Will they hand it off again? They will. Not even Beatty, it's Michael Cox who is upended after a short gain bumper pool. So we send you now to Adam Zucker in our New York studio for the Geico halftime report.
And played much of the second half, and then Jefferson, as we all remember, came back.
Flip it to Smith, and he is denied any yardage. Brought down to the backfield by Hudson Clark.
Like they did in the first half, making plays in the backfield. Hudson Clark, this is all eyes with this 3-3-5 defense. All eyes ready to go and pounce.
More pressure, hit as he throws, incomplete. Nearly chased down as Toski Dove was in the area. Bazelak now slow to get up himself.
You're going to see the loop around. Offensive line and the center's going to work left. Does not account for our man, 3rd down machine, Hayden Henry, once again making plays.
Where he will take this snap, sends Johnson to the outside, has Burks in the backfield. Instead, they go to the other side for Warren, who's got plenty of space and plenty of speed. Devion Warren up the seam. Tracked down from behind at the 5, but there's that explosive play for Arkansas.
Accuracy is key on these screens. You see him throw it right at the chest plate of his receiver, able to catch it in stride as Warren, then use the Blazers to take off.
That's exactly right. You probably are going to keep those in your reservoir.
Smith instead, the misdirection, and the senior scores. Touchdown Arkansas.
To set up the touchdown. Kendall Briles rolling hot dice right now.
Explosive plays. KJ a little banged up. It's all right. We got backs. Treylon Smith gets it in. Arkansas extends the lead, 17-6.
It's the 7th 3 and out combined between these two teams today. So the defenses, for the most part, doing their jobs, and Sam Pittman saying that his group has bent but not broken. Perotti. Oh, if he had busted one more.
One-on-one to their guy. This is an opportunity right here.
Looking his way, Treylon Burks, separation. Burks has it. Look out for Treylon Burks A spectacular throw and catch for an Arkansas touchdown.
Where's Waldo? I'll show you where he is. He's out there to the left, and he's got one-on-one coverage with no safety help, and you're just going to take advantage of that.
No, it's one-on-one with DJ Jackson, and this was the matchup they wanted. If we can get our best receiver on this freshman, no chance, zero chance. Just throw it up with the big guy, go out there and make a play.
Of the season, his 11th touchdown, 18th of his career, and extends the lead 24-6. Razorbacks in control. Bazelak will hand it off to Michael Cox, and he is bottled up. Markel Utze, the Missouri transfer. They get it right back to the walk-on. He is leveled.
Down 24-6. You're already in a bowl game. This is, I wouldn't be surprised to look for two more.
You have to.
3rd down and 8. Jefferson fires. Jefferson with a connection. It's Ketron Jackson downfield. What a play.
I mean, that throw, that's not easy, man. What he just did right there, rolling to his left, banged up on an absolute dime, and great job for these receivers staying alive. They know that KJ is going to extend the play, give them an opportunity down the field, but the throw going to his left, woo, oh, special.
A beautiful ball to the freshman, and Jackson does the rest. 1st down now for Jefferson. Escapes the rush and picks up the 1st down out of bounds.
I want to know what's in the tent.
As we start this 4th quarter on the Tigers 23. 1st down and 10, and the handoff to Traylon Smith, who was undercut in the backfield. Smith had a touchdown earlier as well. They'll pitch it to him. Smith makes a move. Smith weaving through the defense. Outstanding work, but a flag comes in. A touchdown for the moment as Traylon Smith scores for the 2nd time today. The need for it. Smith in motion. That means Jefferson will go to the air. Finds his man, Traylon Burks. This guy is something special. 23-yarder for Cam Little. And it curves through. So Little makes it 27-9.
Where it got tipped and it landed into the Razorbacks' hands.
Bazelak comes right out and throws an interception. Buster Brown does indeed get his 5th of the year.
One-on-one, take a shot.
Receivers have to give the quarterback the sideline, Aaron. If you don't give him the sideline, you get pinched into it, and Buster Brown makes the play.
Yeah, you got to find a way to stack, get up the alley, give that room for your receiver. But, I mean, give credit to where credit's due defensively for Brown. He did a great job shoving the receiver, staying on top, not letting him get any kind of space. And
KJ Jefferson stays out there. A couple minutes into this 4th. Take the handoff, pitch it to the outside for Warren. Lots of space for Devion Warren. Warren makes a couple men miss, and he gets past the 20.
The stop and go ability of Warren, we saw it on the big play earlier in this half, and then once again on the reverse, getting guys to stumble, little dot-dot, and then right by him in a hurry. Great job down the field. You see tight ends, offensive linemen getting down there blocking, but
I just mentioned Arkansas to try to punch the ticket here.
Rocket Sanders the running back, but Jefferson back to the air. Lofts over the middle. He has his target. It's Warren once again who stumbles forward. And now a 3rd and 2 under center for Jefferson. Burks. Pitch. Sanders. Touchdown.
Now they're just having fun.
How about to say, Riles right now is showing off with his game
plan. Now they're just having fun.
You give a jet sweep, you create a little option. We'll see if he's able to stay in bounds for the touchdown, but this is just too much fun these Arkansas players are having right now. Hey, let me get a chance of being a little bit of a quarterback. Option read. Ooh, let's see where the ball is.
Let's see if they stop play here.
Yep, foot was out, but we'll see where the ball was when he crossed.
Senior day at home, leading Missouri 34-9. yards to Beatty.
Probably should have been more based on what we've seen in the passing game.
Let's add to the total. This time, Arkansas ready for it.
Double pass.
Dove into the end zone for Chisholm, 34-17.
As he tries to figure out how to get the Cowboys out of that tailspin.
Jones will hand it off for Traylon Smith. One more play for good measure. So long.
KJ, I was with you on that sideline. I saw you in and out of that injury tent. How were you able to dig down deep inside you, even though you were banged up, and go out there and have the performance you did tonight?
I mean, the main thing is, we just want to chase history, man. We want to do something that ain't never been done here in the University of Arkansas, so that's just the main thing on my mind. I had to finish for my teammates.
We're going to get to the history part in one second, but I also want to discuss your teammate there in Treylon Burks. I mean, he's also dealing with some injuries. He was incredible out there tonight. Talk to me a little bit about the fight you see within him.
I mean, where he come from. I mean, he just a hard-nosed workaholic. I mean, he humble. I mean, just having a guy like Treylon on my team, knowing I can give him the ball in space, and he gonna make plays like he did tonight, is just awesome.
Physically, how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm pretty good.
All right, looking at this team as a whole now, 3 rivalry trophies, something that Arkansas has never done. What do you want the country to know about this Razorback program?
Man, we're just a hard-working team. I mean, just starting off in the spring, man, just coming in, all the workouts we put in, all the extra time, after coming in, just extra work, man. I mean, just having a team like this and everybody just bought in and trust the process is truly incredible.
There's some celebrating to be had, so congratulations on a great win.
Thank you.
Missouri and Arkansas. Battle Line Trophy at stake. Both teams bowl eligible. They know that. Arkansas has not won 8 regular season games in a decade. First possession of the game, Arkansas, no score. KJ Jefferson. There he goes for 49.
Dude had 58 yards on the day rushing the football, the majority of them coming right there. He's a real threat, not only to throw the football, but obviously a big part of the run game here for Arkansas this season.
And then Blaze Aldridge gets to him. Speaking of KJ, do you buy the comparisons to one of the guys that would be honored at Auburn
Cam
this
Newton
weekend
comparison?
if he wasn't playing?
I do. I mean, he has that big body like Cam, certainly a guy that gets those short yardage pickups when you need them like Cam did.
Tigers get a turnover, leads to a field goal, 3-3. Jefferson throws. Oh, my goodness. Treylon Burks.
How does he get so open?
It's amazing.
He's the only guy that you think about catching balls for Arkansas, and yet again, time after time, he's wide open.
Well, he got over 1,000 yards, 4th Razorback to have 1,000 receiving yards in a season. First one since Kobe Hamilton in 2012. Rock Sanders, touchdown, 10-3. Tyler Beatty. Now this kind of gets ugly because Miles Slusher and Bailey get tangled up, and you don't see it till the replay. Beatty actually grabs the face mask of the defender and takes him out with him. Yeah, he was assessed a penalty.
You know what, though? We always talk about the officials missing things. How about them catching that in real time, throwing the flag? It was certainly a 15-yard penalty, and Beatty let the emotions get a little bit too much of himself there.
Later in the drive, 3rd and long, Hayden Henry, the nice PBU. 10 tackles, a TFL, and a PBU for Arkansas. They're up 10-6 at the break, 3rd quarter. Devion Warren. Look at that. He got some speed.
He's fast, right?
I know. You did say, in fairness, when you said what you said on the air, you said it in the newsroom. You said, they have like one receiver. Why is he always open? Good to see other guys get football.
Yeah, 83 yards for Warren on the day.
You better believe it. 2nd and goal. Treylon Smith, touchdown. 17-7. All right, 3 and out. Arkansas gets it right back. 2nd play of the drive. It's that one receiver, Burks. Again,
and wide open.
Wide open.
A matchup on a freshman corner, will take that all day, every day if I'm KJ Jefferson.
7 catches, 129, and a touchdown for Burks. 4th quarter, they are rolling. Burks.
How about the play design here?
Look at him running that option.
Little speed sweep with a little option at the end. Love the play call.
Sam Pittman and company cap an 8-win regular season.
We don't have a guy on our team that had any of them ever. Not one. Not one that earned one of them. And to have those 3 trophies in there is big. I didn't know it. Like I said before, Grant said, I said, why you don't make such a big deal out of these trophies? You know, of course, I do. And Grant said, because there's not any of us ever earned one of them. And to have all 3 of them for the first time in the history of the University of Arkansas or to beat all three of those teams in the same year, I believe for the first time as well. It's a great tribute to those kids and to my assistant coaches.
You mentioned the trophies. Look at this, huh? All three of their rivalry trophies, A&M, LSU, Missouri. First time Arkansas has ever won all three in a season, and yes, the bowling.
Somebody left their bowling ball.
Yes, I think they did that on purpose because they will indeed go bowling, and by a long shot they will. KJ Jefferson, 262 passing yards, just 4 incomplete passes, 58 more yards rushing. We saw the big play there. How do you describe his evolution over the course of this season?
Do you remember there was a time in the season, myself included, where we questioned the type of passer that KJ Jefferson was going to be? We talked about his running ability and what a great job he was doing in that aspect, but he was a little inconsistent earlier. He's gotten better and better as the season's gone on, and you asked me how I describe it. Efficient is how I describe it. The last 4 ball games, he's completing 76% of his passes. They don't have to throw a ton because of how well they run the football, but when they do, he is judicious with the football, he's accurate with the football, and they're able to throw with great consistency because of that accuracy.
What do you not want to do in a football game? Turn it over? He hasn't thrown a pick in his last 6 games.
Yeah, pretty amazing,
We'll
right?
take that, right? Okay, on the other side of this, 5th 200-yard rushing game for Tyler Beatty. Nobody else in all of Football Bowl Subdivision has more than 2 of them. He carried it 41 times. How do you describe his importance not just to this Missouri team, but to the Missouri program as a whole?
Sorry, Connor Bazelak threw for 65 yards today. He was the entirety of the offense, which he's done all year long. You know, we talk about not having much threat of a passing game, not having much relief for Tyler Beatty. This is a like old school back that can carry the football like one of those 30 to 40 times a game from the 80s, and yet he's durable, continues to pick up yards despite being the focal point of the offense.
Yeah.
Defenses can't stop him.
No, he's just fantastic, and we'll see. We'll see what awaits Missouri and Arkansas, both bowl games. SEC Coach of the Year.
This makes me more stressed than the conversation we just had a second ago.
Oh, we were really stressed about this. All right, so first of all, how difficult is it to determine your top 2 or 3?
Top 2 or 3?
Because
I'm
we
having a
actually
tough
go
time
5.
figuring out my top 5.
Yeah.
Literally, this is the most confusing year when it comes to Coach of the Year candidates because there's so many different criteria that we're talking about. And a lot of people want to eliminate the guy that's had the best season so far because of kind of the Nick Saban effect, the guy that has the best players. Well, part of recruiting, or part of coaching is recruiting and bringing in that recipe. You have to have all the ingredients, and Kirby's done a great job of that, but people want to discount the job he's done because of all those great players.
It happens all the time. I mean, Nick Saban should have 7 National Coach of the Year awards, but he doesn't. Okay, what's your ballot? Your 5. What's it look like?
Where do you want me to start?
However production has it. However you want it. Go 1 to 5. Go 1 to 5.
I'll go 1 to 5. My number 1 is Kirby Smart.
Because I think let's go 1 because of that.
Yeah,
yes.
no, I think Kirby Smart is the guy that deserves this award. His team is on the cusp of winning what I believe is going to be an SEC championship and a national championship. Greatest season they've had in a long time. So he's my number 1. Number 2 is Sam Pittman. Just a remarkable story, taking that Arkansas team to 8 wins has been nothing short of amazing. Getting them to believe, I think, is the most fun part of that story this year.
And then on Friday, Arkansas takes care of Missouri 34-17. They get that Battle Line trophy and go to 8-4, their first 8-win regular season in a decade, since 2011. So Missouri does have 6 wins. They're bowl eligible, and all of these teams will play another game. We all understand that. But to this point, Arkansas, give me 1 word.
Shocking, Dari. And I say shocking in a good way because this was a team whose over-under was set at 5 in the offseason, I believe. And I had them going under. I thought they overachieved last season in an SEC-only year. I thought this was going to be a pretty high bar set for them that they weren't going to be able to get to. But Sam Pittman has completely changed the culture of that entire program. He's a perfect fit for Fayetteville, a perfect fit for that part of the country, and just couldn't be more happy for what they were able to achieve. 8 wins. You couldn't have sold that to me in the biggest Razorback fairy tale story.
Here's to hoping you never have to use the word shocking with any Pittman Razorback team again, because don't ever undersell, right?
Cole, who you got for Coach of the Year? This is a difficult choice. A lot of deserving candidates. I'm going to go Sam Pittman. 8 wins this season for the Razorbacks. He's been there for 2 years, but fellas, the 3 years before he arrived, Arkansas won 8 games combined.
Crazy.
The 3 years before he got there, he just won 8 games. We know about all the B's that he's racked up, the trophies that he's racked up this year. I got to go Sam Pittman.